accompany this
Well, the time has just gone 4:37 p.m. as we continue with the Iftar Drive, and it's time now for the Voices from Palestine segment in conjunction with the PSA, the Palestine Solidarity Alliance. And this afternoon, we want to take a look at countering Zionist propaganda, and we want to talk about media activism and how this obviously will shape public opinion, or it has already shaped public opinion to a large extent, considering how Palestine and the genocide in Palestine has been trending right across multiple platforms on social media. But also at the same time, one needs to be aware of what is playing out in mainstream media and the narrative of mainstream media. Joining us this afternoon is solidarity activist Jared Sachs. Jared, good afternoon to you from South Africa. Welcome, and wonderful that you're able to join us. I see, I think you in the United States, if I'm not mistaken. Jared, I think we are having a problem hearing you. I'm not getting any sound coming through. No, definitely not. I'm going to ask my my engineer to try and see if we can't sort the problem out. Yes, Jared? No, definitely. We're definitely having a problem. We'll have to, I'll just have to ask my engineer to sort out this problem. There we go, Jared. I think I just said something.
You can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Perfect, perfect. Okay, you seem to have sorted the problem out. Jared, yes, as I said, thank you very much for your time with us this afternoon. And, there's just so much one can actually talk about, particularly with regard to the media and the narrative and the propaganda and the counter narratives, lies, debunking of lies. There's just so much out there that actually had started since this genocide began in October 2023.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the genocide has been quite a rough time for many of us throughout the world. And I think that it's quite important that we find ways to teach ourselves how to look through media and read the media in a critical sense, so that we don't take everything that's being put out there for granted.
Yes. Now, obviously, we know that what has made this genocide so different is, this has actually been trending real time. If not on mainstream media, it's been trending real time on social media. And it has actually opened up many an eye, and it has exposed so much. And I just want to focus a bit in this time of social media, when we know there is a lot of propaganda out there. And often when we talk here of media, we talk of corporate media, we talk here of mainstream media as well. And, as someone like yourself, and also, when we looked at a media activism, looking at how governments initially did not check or did not take, did not check for the facts, for the false narratives that were being repeated over and over again. And that, at the end of the day, led to a situation that actually formed public opinion. A lot of people had certain views with regard to Palestine, with regard to Israel and the conflict. But again, we found that social media changed this very, very quickly, and just needed your thoughts, on how people actually buy into media and what media says without checking the facts.
Yes, I mean, this is a serious issue, and I think that we sometimes, fail to double check the facts, but also the media itself sometimes fails to check the facts. Sometimes they have their own agendas. They're close to this or that nation or this or that ideology, and for that reason, they will push certain ideas which might not actually be true. I think that there's like two different types of media these days, right? There's the more traditional print and online media that is supposed to be maybe more reliable, but in actual fact, they are often beholden to certain agendas, and we have to be very careful about them. But then there's also, the less traditional media and the online social media, and in those kinds of spaces, we also, people can kind of post anything without any kind of fact checking or any kind of way of making sure that this information is correct. And so we need to also be able to read through these online sources and double check whether these facts are true. So we have to use a very discerning eye, I think.
Yes, but also, Jared, it's about media, but it's also about personalities that represent that media,
Mhm.
and we've seen it. We've seen many prominent personalities, popular, media. Whether we're talking about talk show hosts, we're talking of the major media outlets, the likes of the BBCs and the CNNs and the Fox News, and all these people. At the end of the day, and they obviously have within these organizations popular media personalities to actually push a certain agenda, to talk about certain things, to repeat a lie over and over again. And we've seen it time and again how these lies were being debunked one after the other, but without any apology, without any remorse for the lies that sometimes mainstream media has put out in the put out in the domain.
Absolutely. I think that one example is Adi Cohen Hazanov, who is the deputy chief of the mission of the the Israeli embassy in South Africa, and she wrote an article recently that we responded to, where she basically lied about how Israel was conducting itself in Gaza and pretended that Israel was providing Gazans with water and all these nice things and making sure that Gazans weren't dying, when in fact Israel is behind this entire crisis. And so she's putting out this information, and she puts it in an op-ed in the Mail and Guardian, and we felt it was important to respond to it. But it's really easy stuff to check. Anyone can see what she's written and then go with various human rights organizations like Human Rights Watch or Amnesty International, or the UN, and they'll see, well, this information that she's providing is actually not true, and it's quite easy to correct this information sometimes. But it requires us doing a little bit of extra homework, and I think that's very important. Hopefully, more people can start doing that. Just because we receive a meme or a statement on WhatsApp or on Facebook doesn't mean that it's true. It doesn't mean we should share it immediately. We should do a Google search first and check, is there a reliable media source who's reporting the same thing? Okay, then I can share it.
I think what you're saying is very important, because at the end of the day, it requires one to be vigilant about verifying all information, and it's important to even get that correct narrative out, Jared. And also, in the absence of independent media being allowed, for example, in Gaza as well, we've seen that there was no independent coverage was provided, and then those that were providing coverage, journalists, were being killed one after the other, like flies, to prevent the truth from actually coming out in the harsh reality. And these were the stark realities that we were faced with as far as media and journalism is concerned. But again, with the advent of social media, it's given us another opportunity, it's given us another platform. But again, let's just talk a bit about how important, Jared, it is to get that correct narrative out, because at the end of the day, this influences public perceptions. It influences public opinion at the end of the day, and also at the same time, it does also expose those that are responsible for, any fake information or false information that is out in the public domain.
Yeah, it's absolutely essential. I mean, it's important that you guys do this. That's part of the work that we're doing as South African Jews for Free Palestine. We see it as our role to make sure that other Jews get alternative information that is different from what the Israeli propaganda is providing, So we do a lot of work, statements, and putting out op-eds to do this, speaking to the media. So we definitely see it as our role to do this, and it's a very dangerous time with the United States moving towards fascism and people like Elon Musk sharing a lot of very false information on Twitter and other social media. We have to be very careful about the kind of things we consume from various different media outlets.
Well, Jared, I'm going to put you on hold. We're going to go for a quick ad break. We'll be back.
Okay, thank you.
Salam Media, your spiritual companion this Ramadan.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Freedom Stationery supply Marlin and Marlin Kids pens to me and my school friends. They supply just about everything we need to help us get a better education, from books to files to rulers. In fact, any any accessory we need. Freedom Stationery. Education for the nation. What does accessory mean?
More than 800 million people around the world live in deep poverty, uncertain of where the next meal will come from. For those on the brink of starvation, a food pack means survival, dignity, and hope. Send food. Send kindness. Be the reason a family does not go hungry. Donate now to Islamic Relief.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic Sharia and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
You are listening to Salam Media live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salam Media, keeping you company this Ramadan.
Well, we continue with our broadcast this afternoon, and we are still continuing with Voices from Palestine, the segment that we are bringing to you daily from 4:30 till 5, right here on Salam Media. And this afternoon, we have the pleasure of Jared Sachs, a member of the South African Youth for Free Palestine and also solidarity activist. Now, Jared, let us just continue. And I think what is important in the day and age that we are in is media activism building on media activism, building capacity for media activism at the end of the day, because this is the time that we are living in, the sign of our times. We are so deep-rooted in the digital age, and again, looking at a solidarity movement that basically ties in with the times that we are living in. Let's talk a bit about how can we actually build on this media activism to make maximum impact.
Okay, well, I can give you some examples maybe from South African Jews for Free Palestine, right? So we have our general membership, and then we have subcommittees that deal with various different purposes. One of those subcommittees is the writing subcommittee, and that's writing subcommittee works on putting together various different forms of statements or op-eds for our organization. Then we have another subcommittee that does social media. That subcommittee puts together stuff to put on, Instagram and Facebook. And so we have committees. People can be members of multiple committees, and within those committees, we work towards trying to build a strong and consistent presence in social media, in the newspapers, in places like Salam Media, and the idea is that if we are able to stay consistent, we can hopefully have an impact, in the media landscape, and getting our work across to help free Palestine.
Well, certainly, and also I think this will go a long way in actually countering, the mainstream and this well-oiled propaganda machinery that we've seen operating right across the entire world, whether we're talking through mainstream and corporate media or we're talking through social media. We know the media moguls, those that actually fund them, and we talk of massive funding to push a certain narrative through as well. And we see it here in South Africa as well, where we see some of the mainstream media, some of the organizations like the Zionist Federation, the Jewish Board of Deputies. I mean, these are well-funded organizations from a media perspective as well. And, always vigilant, watchful of what is happening. Anybody that they think steps out of line or whatever it is, they are there basically to counter any narrative that is being pushed forward. And the thing is, with what you are saying again, in terms of building on this media activism, we can do absolutely, exactly the same. And once again, like you mentioned, it's all at the end of the day, like-minded people with a common purpose, and that purpose at the end of the day is to fight for this Palestinian cause in more ways than one. And even if it means making use of media activism.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point, and I think that we should also recognize that we are doing quite. Justice will always struggle in terms of funding, our struggles, our activism. We'll never have as much money as them. For instance, they have so much money just coming from the Israeli state, but now they've added another 150 million that will be used per year to push Israeli propaganda. So just because we don't have as much money as them does not mean that we can't be more effective than them. And if we keep on, being loud and being active, we have the rights, we have the truth on our side, and people will come around to our side. We just need to keep staying active.
Well, I think what you're saying is very, very true, Jared, because I mean, through all this 18 months of this genocide, when we see people that have come out in the streets, those that have come out to protest as well, we are talking of ordinary people, and despite all the investment in the media, despite all the propaganda, we've just seen more people come out in the streets against the genocide and in support of the Palestinian cause than those that are obviously that have been pro Zionist or pro the genocide as well. And we've seen it over and over again across this country, across many countries, right across the entire world.
You still hear me? I think. Oh. Can you see me now?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I might have missed what your last bit.
Yes, no, I'm just saying that, when one looks at the global reaction, and as you mentioned, they may have a lot more money, they may have pumped a lot more money, but again, you can't change public opinion because the facts actually speak for themselves and people see it on the ground. And this is the reason why we've seen this huge, I would say, a revolution, yeah, that's taken place in almost every major city right across the entire country when it came to the Palestinian cause, when it came to making their voices heard, when it came out, showing their solidarity with the people of Palestine.
Absolutely. I think that one thing is that the truth will come out, but the only way to make sure the truth comes out is that we need is to be loud enough and prominent enough so that people hear the truth. As if they're only hearing the lies and they're not hearing any of the truth, then they'll stick with those lies. We won't be able to convince them of what is actually going on. And so part of the problem with the mainstream media is many people watch one mainstream media outlet and they will only get one narrative over and over and over again. And they will never be able to counter that narrative with other alternatives. And so it's up to us to not just tell the truth, but to get it out there as much as possible.
Well, Jared, this is what we aim to do, and this is the reason why we are having this discussion with you this afternoon right here on Salam Media. And this is the reason why, together with the PSA as well and like-minded organizations through the coalitions and the Palestinian resistance movements right across the country and also possibly around the world, in terms of partnering with them. And this is what Salam Media has been doing as an independent organization, media organization as well, is working with people like yourself, with like-minded people. So together we can actually come, together and make, like you said, make our voices heard, and again, give voice to the voiceless at the same time as well. And again, it's unity of purpose, which ultimately which is what you want, which is what I want, which is what everybody wants. To see that freedom and the liberation of the people of Palestine. So we will continue regardless, and hopefully even after the month of Ramadan, we will continue. And this was one of the reasons why we introduced the segment in the month of Ramadan, Voices from Palestine, to get as many voices and also covering as many areas as possible. And one of them absolutely critical, which is media.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate you letting me come on. And hopefully, next time I'm on, it will be in better circumstances and to free Palestine.
Not a problem, Jared, but we do appreciate your time. All the best to you, sir. Jared Sachs, member of the South African Youth for Free Palestine, was us this afternoon on our Voices from Palestine segment, and that is brought to us courtesy of our partnership with the PSA, the Palestine Solidarity Alliance. And with that, we just headed to 5 p.m. We're going for the Asr Azan, and then the Asr Salah at around a 5:15. We will be linking up once again with Muslim Hands. So for now, we're going for a quick break. We'll be back. Stay with us.